Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special Christmas. I am Mike Martin, one of the cast here of Stitch of Fate, the storyteller in particular. And as always, I am joined by my four players. Dot, oh God, you have Duke there. I almost said your real name. Bub, Josh, and Mark. Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey.
Pretty good.
Good.
It's going great.
Already in character. Good. Today, as I said, is going to be a Christmas special. For those of you who might have already listened to the podcast, this is taking place about 8 years prior to season 1. So if you have not watched the show and are worried about being confused, don't worry. We got you covered there. And if you're part of are familiar with the show and wanted more of that 10-year history that our coterie had before the show started, this is going to be a little bit of that for you. Other than that, I don't really have much else to announce. Is anything the four of you want to hit cover before we just kind of dive in?
Merry Christmas, everybody, and happy holidays.
Yes.
That, but slightly less intimidating.
Yes.
Listen, Max is only intimidating to those who don't know him.
That's true.
So let's set the scene, bring things down, rein it in, and see what our coterie is up to. As the camera fades in, the background sounds of New York's busy streets in early 2010s fills the ears, honking horns and sirens, mixed with gentle snow covering buildings, streets, and sidewalks among those who drive and walk about. Not a worrying amount, but a gentle dusting to truly bring an air of the holidays to the city. And I say that because tonight is Christmas Eve. As the camera brings itself down to street level and it surrounds itself with buildings on each side, and the sounds of cars, wheels passing by, and people chatter on the sidewalks fill our ears. Hanging from the street lights and some windows and some doors are wreaths, lights, and all manner of holiday celebration. But as we peel from downtown and we get further away from those busy streets, the buildings are a place with your more melancholic, abandoned type. The brick buildings with boarded up windows, broken windows, and doors removed from their hinges. On the streets, you see much more broken bottles and bags of trash, some ripped open, some just tossed on the side, deteriorating from the weather as days and weeks go by before they're ever touched. But soon as the camera pulls around a corner, a neon light illuminates through that gentle snow. It flickers in a bright pink, and as it approaches those beautiful double doors, and the building itself stands out amongst the rest. Surrounded by a sea of mundane is a pinnacle of, some would say, entertainment, others would simply call it escape. Vera, we approach and are sat in front of your club. For the holidays, however, I imagine it looks a little different. So for those who are and aren't familiar with Vera's club, what are our eyes looking at this evening?
So it's a small building wedged between two much larger old brick buildings of the city, but it is a refurbished vaudeville theater. The front is flat, but it has that little ticket booth that's not really used anymore. As you enter the space, it's been redone to match this kind of 1920s deep, dark cigar lounge vibe. The stage is still there, the seats are out, there's a dance floor, and the upper mezzanine has been converted into a drinking and smoking lounge for the VIPs. But at Christmas, Vera has taken it a step further. There are wreaths and garland and lights, but everything has been sprayed chroma, like oil colored. It is juxtaposing this kind of deep dark wood. Everything drips with this kind of oily essence.
It suits Vera rather well. And as the doors fly open and the sounds of the city fade and give way to the sounds of the club, it becomes obvious to those that even on Christmas Eve, Vera's club does not stop. It's around 10:30 at night, only an hour and a half before truly Christmas arrives, and there are people mashed together, drinking, filled with smoke, pressed up against one another, almost as though they were there to keep each other warm in this club, though the heat levels in here are much higher than most find comfortable. And the camera pushes by them, zooming between their legs, not spreading between their legs, zooming between their legs as the bodies are mashed. Though there is some leg spreading happening in the club as dancing is happening, don't get me wrong, but it pushes past
It is
all
the
of that.
holidays, everybody.
It is the holidays at Vera's in particular. And as we push past all of those who are dancing on the dance floor back through double doors, we find a very simple steel door that sits slightly out of place with the aesthetic of even the back rooms. As we leave the dance floor, it's clear Vera pays grand attention to even the smallest of details, where even the public eyes don't get to see how clean and organized and well kept everything is. That's why the steel door sticks out. And as we slip under the steel door down some stairs, the sounds of the club become more a thumping echo. And we hear light chatter. There's a room down the stairs off to the right that's mostly empty, concrete, and in the back a small desk with a chair. And in that desk, on that chair, sits a rather plain-looking individual with glasses and a well-kept mustache and piercing blue eyes as he fiddles very plainly with a small gift on the desk. But scattered throughout the room as the camera pulls itself to the corner, we see the other three as well. Vera is having light conversation in her complete leather-clad outfit, always dressed to the nines, no matter where or what time it is, chatting with somebody who looks like he probably changed a month and a half ago, but those clothes just feel so good, even though they smell so bad. He's laughing, having a conversation, and it's hard to tell whether Vera is annoyed or simply just enduring. But beyond that, even further against the wall, kind of fiddling with, I imagine, a gift bag of a sort, dressed in a bathrobe, exposing all of his glorious bat-like features, his piercing yellow eyes, is our dear Nosferatu Maxwell, keeping to himself but listening in. As the sounds pick up and become more defined, what is it that Vera and Sean are babbling about as they are gathering together for tonight to celebrate the holidays? This was Sean's idea, of course.
It still didn't understand why they call it a
Josh, you're
what?
muted. I see your mouth moving, and I'm just like...
Never mind.
Try again?
So you're telling me you don't know what an Xbox is?
That is what I'm saying.
You've got a really exciting year ahead of you.
Why?
It's a secret. That's the whole point.
So what does it do? The Xbox?
Oh, what doesn't it do? So basically, if you can think of any entertainment you want, you find it on this little box. And then I mean, other people like PlayStation, but like you get better games on the Xbox. That's all I'm saying. So keep that in mind for later.
As Sean kind of wags when he excitedly plays with a small, like, rectangular gift wrapped up in his hand. Does Max, as he stares, he clearly was assigned the gift for Sean. And as the kind of awkward silence between Vera and Sean settles, Vera clearly not understanding why Sean is so excited, it's about time. The gift giving is, you've been putting it off too long. And I imagine Max kind of steps forward with his gift in a bag or perhaps wrapped. How does Max handle the particular gift that he has for Sean?
Well, Max, you may notice that Max is getting a little ready here. He's, if I gotta play Santa Claus, I might as well look the part, right? Okay, here you go.
So as the silence settles, you actually hear Max go, well, if I gotta play Santa Claus, and he just kind of reaches into his robe and pulls out the Santa hat, adjusting it.
You know.
You should note this, the Santa Claus hat that he's wearing, it's a lot dirtier than the one you see here. It looks like it might have been taken from a Salvation Army Santa, maybe, that had seen better days. But, I got it on my head. It doesn't really fit because my head is a lot bigger than, say, the average melon. So I got this on, and in a brown paper bag, it's also seen better days, is some kind of gift for Sean. I hand it over to him. Here you go, kid. Merry whatnot.
And so nonchalantly and unceremoniously, everybody is clued into that gift giving starts now by Max just walking up, slapping the hat on, and shoving the brown paper bag in Sean's hands.
It's not Christmas until Max puts the hat on.
So let's get this show on the road, huh? How do we want to do this? We exchanging first, or?
Well, Sean, it was your game. You explain it.
Oh yeah, so everyone gets a thing for everyone else. We did that, and then then you give the thing, and
So you open it now, or what?
now we open it, and Sean just like while looking at the bag that Max has given him, just kind of nonchalantly like pushes his gift at Vera.
And Vera just kind of getting slapped with
How
with
big is it? How big?
like DVD case sized?
It's about book sized, one might say,
Book-sized.
and you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
it seems a bit rigid for a book, but yeah.
Okay.
And as Vera gets hers, what does Vera do with her gift? Who does hers go to?
Oh, right. I go over to a table and set this gift down. I imagine that her gift is very tiny and pristinely wrapped, and she goes over to Duke, who I imagine's brooding in a corner.
Not far off the mark.
Sitting at the desk.
Okay. Sitting at a desk. I come over and I like slide the package across, and I say, this one was very hard to find, but I think I'm going to win the game.
You don't win. No, everyone wins.
What?
From the center of the room, he's just shouting, What? There's no winning? And then Max,
I'll walk back over to the
and
gift.
Duke?
Oh yeah.
Duke moves over to Max and places a box probably no more than like a foot by like a foot large, like 12 inches by 12 inches. It is very, very like keenly and precisely wrapped. There's not much left for accident. It's all like keen ribbon wrapped, and things are very nicely done.
Yeah, you shouldn't have.
Going off by character patience, I imagine Sean was the very first one to rip
He's
open
already
his
ripped it
gift.
open.
Yeah, I figured as much. So as he's tearing open the gift, Max, what is it that he got in a brown paper bag?
Well, Sean finds a rather bedraggled comic book. It's very old, but beyond that, its edges are burned. There's rips in it. There's what looks like dried blood all over it through various pages. Max leans in and says, "Yeah, if that was in good shape, that would actually be worth quite a bit. I figured it was apropos, you know." What you're holding is Detective Comics number 38, which is the first appearance of Batman's sidekick, Robin.
That's so good. What does Sean do as this becomes clear? Because I imagine Sean didn't recognize the comic immediately, but as Max explains what it is.
I know Batman and Robin. So what is it worth?
Right in the condition it's in?
Yeah, this.
Yeah, you'd probably be handy if you wanted to wipe your butt. But, you know me, I don't keep my comics in good shape. It's the reading. The reading is the real thrill, you know?
Okay.
I think most of the pages are still there.
Great. I think I like it. So I
We
don't.
need a manipulation subterfuge roll here.
Yo, if Sean wants you to think that he likes it, I can do that.
It's up to you if Sean really wants Max to believe.
Yes, he does.
All right. This is year 2. I imagine he's
shit.
still yeah. He is Max, as he's telling you how excited he is, it's absolutely clear he is sarcastic, but he's trying not to be, though it's just impossible for his nature to not come through.
So what do we do with the other 31? Do I need to have read those to understand?
No, you know Batman, right?
I know of him.
They made movies about him up until recently.
Yeah, but surely this is like 32.
That George Clooney, he put the nail in the coffin of that franchise, though. We're not going to see another one, I don't think.
It's all, superhero stuff. It's
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
though. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Wait, although there was that new one. I think it did okay.
I didn't have time to see that.
Who would be the next one to tear open their gift? Let's go with Duke.
Okay, all right. Since nobody else is jumping to, I suppose Duke would. He would unfold what this is. She said it was hard to
She's
come
got
by.
a
Small box.
Yeah.
So as you slowly, and as we watch Duke, I imagine it's like each piece of tape is meticulously torn as to not
Definitely.
actually hurt the paper, turned over and unfolded.
Yes,
Corner
by
by
design.
corner, inch by inch. And as you lift out this small box, it's just a plain looking cardboard box, and flip it open. What is on the inside?
Inside is a small white hand carved elephant. And Virago smiles very big and she says, "It's made of human bone. Particular human's bone. And it's a white elephant."
You've certainly piqued my interest,
will.
Vera. Whom
I thought I
does this
might.
bone belong to?
That is the best part. I don't know. I don't know.
And she cackles wildly as she like waits for the joke to build, and as she releases a Vera punchline, there's that awkward kind of like silence, and then
What?
Sean maybe
This
like
is a
laughs.
white elephant.
And the game you have won. Very good, Vera. I will cherish this pachyderm.
Thank you.
Max, guys, I imagine after that, there is that strange tense exchange between the two of them before. Max is like, "All right, I'm tearing open mine."
Okay, let's see what you got here, Duke. All right. There. Okay. Well, I don't want to wreck your rig. You know what? I'm just ripping this open.
He just rips the paper off.
That was a marvelous wrapping job you did there. Let's see. Okay, what do we got here?
When you unfold it and open it up, it is actually a snow globe that has been handmade. The inside shows a very linear and thin brick building that says the Succubus Club, and on the outside, it's the classic cartoon Wally the Gator, and he's posing as if like in welcoming pose, and it just says "Welcome home."
Where'd you get this?
I made it.
Wow. Jeez. Huh. I wouldn't have thought. I actually really like this. This is good. Wally
Vera
Gator.
told me that you had a pet alligator at one point, and I thought it was very fitting.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
And as Max immediately physically and emotionally deflates in front of you, having saved the best for last is Vera. Perhaps done on purpose by the coterie, perhaps done on purpose by Vera, but now all eyes are on her, with no other distractions to be had. Sean's gift, held gingerly between her fingertips with those gorgeous black nails dragging down the side.
I lay it on a table and you hear her nail like
And a
clean cut.
Vera, I don't think I understood the game. Maybe we should give it another go.
I do an X across. It's an X box, right? And I I peel the paper back. What is it?
Inside, you see a brand new copy, maybe, of Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
Sean,
It's new. It's the new one.
what is it? It's the new duty?
Yeah. I can.
What does one do with a Black Ops?
So it's a story about like being a super cool military
But there are no
agent and
pages. This is not a book.
all
What
the
is
pa-
it?
All the pages are on the shiny thing inside, and you put that in the Xbox, which I'm afraid you're gonna have to buy yourself. And then you play it, and you enjoy it. You like shoot people.
Max, you're muted.
Wonderful.
Wouldn't it be more fun to
Sean,
shoot people?
It's a lot less illegal.
with Max? And I
It's
don't
only
use
illegal
guns,
if you're
Sean.
caught.
You
Good
can
point.
use knives in the game.
That's quite a bit
It's
more
got-
personal. I think I might
There's
enjoy
a
that.
game.
And as this bizarre discussion, one might call it, about how one would enjoy killing people in Black Ops, whether with a gun or a knife, That discussion is immediately cut silent. There's no time to discuss how she'll get an Xbox because the rhythmic bumping that has been happening above you this entire time stops and instead is replaced by the sounds of a crowd screaming and 2 loud gunshots directly above you. Not long after, before Vera can even say anything, you can hear the footsteps of everybody trampling and running for the exit. An entire herd of animals headed one way, and they move quickly, which is within 10, maybe 15 seconds before all those footsteps are gone, and instead, you're left with an eerie silence.
Max,
Yeah, I'm on it, Vera.
thank you.
Max immediately obfuscates, and you hear this. Actually, you wouldn't hear the sound of footsteps because he's completely silent. But that's where he's going, upstairs, to see what's going on.
We watch as Max steps away from the coterie, and as he steps from the doorway into the hallway, he ripples out of existence from all who could see, and he quickly makes his way up the stairs. The door swings open, leading back into that nice back area where food was being taken care of and drink was being tended to, but now completely empty. No employees milling about, and no one trying to sneak in the back door to get some privacy, as some do in this club. You quickly push your way further out past that into the dance floor where the mezzanine hangs over you from above. But it doesn't take long, Max, before you see what caused a commotion. A simple man in a ripped t-shirt, profusely bleeding from his gut, clasping it with his left hand as he holds himself ever so steadily, looks around with a pistol dangling in his right arm. He's clearly struggling to breathe, indicating to you that he's at least mortal. And as the last couple looks around and he eyes, only barely able to hang on to what consciousness he has, he simply screams, "Vera!" And he collapses onto the ground. The gun clatters from his hand and slides across the smooth dance floor, and that blood he was holding onto in his stomach begins to slowly seep onto the ground, soaking his white t-shirt and now soaking the freshly cleaned and waxed dance floor you had going for a rather well-decorated holiday eve. Now, nothing more than an open tomb for a freshly dead mortal.
Security is around. They're hustling out the customers, I assume.
The security at this point is minimal. There's a couple people at the front hustling out customers, but it's not like it is a few years from now. The security here is still needs some work to be done. And Max, that's something you'll be taking care of rather well over the next couple of years.
Okay. So the gun is nowhere near him right now. Right?
Slid about 1.5 to 2 feet away from his right hand that's now splayed out, and he is either dead or dying in front of you.
Okay, I'm gonna pocket the gun.
Max quickly scoops up the gun as it disappears from view.
Okay, no other assailants visible?
Looking around, everything seems empty, but you may make me a wits awareness check, please.
Wits awareness, you bet.
While he disappears upstairs, do the 3 of you downstairs have any discussion, or
Do I
is it
hear
rather
somebody
quiet?
yell my name?
You would have heard a muffled. You may wits insight to know if you picked up the actual word, or for you it was just you heard screaming. However, the screaming stopped very abruptly after, and knowing Max, that usually means the problem's
Yeah, it
taken
was
care
dealt
of.
with.
That wits awareness go through?
Nope.
Oh.
You could if you can see it, just tell me what you're.
No, I clicked it, but let me try that again. Let's see.
Let's say roll 20.
It could be roll 20. If that's the case, maybe a manual roll works. Sometimes that does work if you just like /R roll.
Yeah.
Whatever your pool is.
Okay, I got a pool of 5, I think.
Yeah, if you just
All
roll
right.
5d10.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, it works. 1, 2.
That went through.
5. That's 5, 6. You're fine. And what was that for? What were you? Oh, as we see Max kind of bend down and pick up the gun. Or rather, the gun kind of disappear from existence. Max quickly scans, his ears honed in any irregularities, a creaking floorboard where the place should be empty, or a misplaced knocking of a glass, but no sight of anybody and no sound of anything catches your ears or eyes, Max, as you are left with the body still laying in front of you as the pool of blood grows ever bigger.
I'm gonna check on this guy, see if he's still breathing.
Intelligence medicine check, please. Vera, did you get your roll? For wits insight to see if you heard your name or if you just heard
I just heard
a
something.
muffled shout. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I don't
gonna
know
be
if
a
that would change.
That's going to be a straight intelligence check because I don't know nothing about medicine.
You don't need to. You could always. Wow. Well, oh, that was Vera. 2 successes. Yeah, you would have. It would have sounded kind of like your name. Enough where you might have recognized it. Max.
I know what my name sounds like out of dying men's lips.
Exactly. It's not a sound you're unfamiliar with after so many years in this business. However, Maxwell, he seems dead.
Yeah, he's dead. I'm going to boot it back downstairs, just let everybody know what's going on.
Okay, you're gonna leave the body on the floor?
No one else is around it, right?
Yeah, nobody's around it. The front doors have been shut. The people are gone. You just don't know if anybody called the cops.
Okay, all right. I'm heading downstairs.
Okay.
As far as I know, this guy's dead. He ain't going anywhere.
So the door flies open after a quick making your way quickly to the back of the club, and the 3 of you downstairs hear the heavy steps of a familiar Nosferatu hurrying down until before he makes his way into a room that at this point in your history is not yet named.
It's true.
Okay, Vera, we got a problem. Looks like some joker came into the club. He'd been shot by somebody. I don't know if it was him that was shooting off a gun, but he had this on him. I hand the gun over to her.
Yep, it's just a simple pistol. Nothing special. Doesn't look like it has any insignias on it or anything at a quick glance, though you can investigate it and take it apart should you choose to.
And the perpetrator is currently upstairs taking a dirt nap, if you know what I mean.
Interesting. Do we know the dirt napper?
Nah, didn't look familiar.
I assume he did not look
He did not look remotely familiar to you.
I don't know, he's just some guy. Or he used to be a guy, now he's a hunk of meat.
During this kind of confrontation, Sean, you have been with this coterie barely 2 years at this point. Your past couple of years have been wrought with confusion and difficulty. One, as a thin blood already is. Life as a thin blood amongst these people, you've learned, is one of second-class citizenship, even if only subtly. But it's never gotten too bad. Sure, you've had to do some illegal dealings, maybe rough somebody up. You've watched Max break more bones than you can count, and you've watched Duke quietly threaten as more people than that. But you've never seen true bloodshed like this, at this violent pace, this quickly. How does Sean react to hearing gunshots and now learning that there's a dead man sitting upstairs, and the 3 of them so nonchalantly working and talking about what to do about the body? You still do slightly feel mortal blood run through your veins.
Sean's going to basically make himself smaller in any way he can. He moves a bit further back.
So as Maxwell comes in then and Vera approaches Max, and even Duke, or they probably speak near the desk with Duke, as most conversations with the coterie do, the camera watches from the wall as the 3 kind of congregate, and it shows an intimacy that Sean is not involved in. There's a familiarity between the three of them. They immediately click into business mode. What are we going to do with the body? How are we going to handle this? Who could it be? There's a calmness. But behind that, as the camera loses focus of those 3 and finds Sean's face instead, he's meekly, quietly stepping to the back, not necessarily to a full corner, but before there was 3 or 4 feet, now Sean makes sure there's 10 feet. And he watches with his hands brought up close, almost fidgeting, and hoping that, I imagine, Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, that maybe they just won't notice you right now. This is a little scary.
He I think is mostly either looking at his fidgeting hands or he's looking at Vera, because Vera gives the orders.
Yep, and Vera right now is, as I said, kind of just beginning to talk with Max and whatnot, but I did want to make sure we see what Sean is up to.
I think Duke might actually lean into this. This is where it looks like there's discussion happening there, and this is so very much their territory. They've been here for probably much longer than even Duke. Duke knows the kindred world fairly well, and he sees Sean retracting, pulling away. And
yeah, to give an idea to those who may not know, the other 3 have decades of kindred life under them already at this point. Sean is 2 years in and was assigned to this coterie.
I think Duke would probably make his way over to you.
So Duke stands up from the desk as Vera's talking to Max about what to do with the body, and we see him make his way over there. However, the camera will linger with Vera and Max first.
Okay, boss, what's the plan here? What's your call? We leave this body for the cops to show up? You want me to make it disappear? What?
Christmas. Well, I can. I do. Vera takes the gun apart. Let's answer a few questions first.
You may intelligence investigation as you slowly pull this thing apart.
I have to pass this off to somebody else.
Or it could be intelligence firearms.
I was about
If
to
you
say,
have,
still,
firearms.
If it was a
Yeah.
knife, we'd be in a different story. But
Yeah.
worth a shot. Maybe
You
I
do
even
know-
I got one. I
Yeah,
got one.
you're able to take the gun apart. You've seen guns over your decades of life, but there's nothing that's special about this
No
particular
special
gun.
ammo, nothing like that.
Doesn't look like it at all. Looks but the bullets themselves, you're familiar with bullets that can do things worse to you than to mortals, and they look like regular ammunition to you.
I made an
This is the gun he was
intelligence.
shot with.
Yes, well, I don't know. He had it in his hand. I saw him drop it. So I just got.
Oh, okay.
I think. Did I just get 3 successes?
You
or
got 3 successes on what did you roll
3.
specifically?
Intelligence firearms.
The serial number has been completely rubbed off of this. Not only, but the thing with Max is you've seen a bunch of illegal firearms with serial numbers rubbed off. They're usually dirt, like hit quick jobs. You see where it's been removed. This gun looks like there was never a serial number put on this thing. It's completely smooth where it should be, and there is no markings that could trace it immediately. The very first thing that Max thinks of is professional hitmen at the very least would have something like this, but maybe something worse.
I'll relay that to Vera. It's like, here's the weird thing. This thing never had a serial number as far as I can see. I don't think it's been filed off or nothing. That's not a good idea. That's not good news. This guy could have been a pro.
Means it was. That's definitely not good. You think maybe a hunter?
Well, here's the thing. The pertinent information, maybe I buried the lead. He called out your name right before he fell down, you know?
Oh, don't I?
You do know, as you're discussing what to do, with the gun and whatnot, and thinking about the body upstairs, you do know while somebody could have called the cops, Christmas is rather busy for the police, especially in the world of darkness. So you have a little time before you have to worry about sirens showing up.
What do you want me to do with our friend upstairs?
What we do with all of our friends who lay face down on the floor.
Okay, so he's gonna disappear. We're gonna need get the janitorial up there to get rid of the blood too.
Yes. And we should keep the weapon.
Sure thing. Okay, I'm heading upstairs.
We see Max peel away. As he peels away and the camera refocuses on the two that are further back in the room, time rewinds a couple of minutes. Max makes his way back in, but the camera now is focused on the two in the back, and the audio from them is what greets our ears. Duke, you slowly approach Sean as the conversation between Vera and Max begins. Sean, obviously you see Duke approach. He's not being coy about it, and the room is not big enough for you to hide. But does Sean, as he sees him approach, does his posture change? Does the way he's carrying himself change? What do we see?
I think it almost does take Sean by surprise. He's not like surprised in the normal sense. He's just like been intently focusing on the conversation between Vera and Max, and then just like Duke there, just way closer than Sean wants him. He's just like, and then he like takes a half step back. It's like,
It's surprising because no matter how many times he does it, you never hear him approach. You were looking into the corner for a moment and he was sitting at the desk, and when you looked up, he had already stood from the desk and he was maybe 2 steps away from it. You didn't hear any movement, but when you catch his eyes, suddenly you can hear his soft footsteps while he takes them. Now you're aware that he's there. It's unnerving. How does Duke respond when he sees Sean physically seem surprised at your approach?
Sean, no matter how many times you take a step back, you can't defeat the brick wall. It will still remain. You should stiffen your back and release those signs of weakness. You're in a room filled with predators. What's got you worried, Sean?
not worried. I'm fine. It's
You're also a very
what do you
bad
need me to
liar.
do? Yeah,
Do the gunshots have you rattled?
Heard gunshots for a very long time. Duke, I just don't think I've ever seen a dead body. Well, not one riddled with wells. What do you need?
I think you should probably age yourself up a bit then, and we should see to this firsthand experience. Don't worry, I'll walk you through it. I've learned the steps. I watched all of Joseph Wamball's films.
Okay.
Then let's go. After you.
Sean very reluctantly steps ahead of Duke.
There's that caution walking by him. There's almost like stepping by a predator that you can't see, knowing he's right next to you. But of course, Duke doesn't do anything. He would never do anything to one of his own coterie or those he considers close. And as Max is stepping out, so too does Sean very shortly thereafter. Does Duke follow as well and Vera, or do they? So all four make their way up top, or does Vera stay downstairs?
I'm going to stay downstairs. I'm going to let them go do
Sure.
the thing they do.
So Sean, sandwiched between Maxwell and Duke, march their way up the stairs, back up through the steel door, the back rooms, and into the dance floor, where they're in the same position he was before, except now a large pool of blood completely surrounding his midsection is a rather plain-looking man. Now they have some time, somewhere in his mid-30s, shaved head, and a goatee. Eyes open, staring blankly at a corner of a room.
Max, before you move the body, this is Sean's first experience with what is now a cadaver.
Baby's first Christmas.
We're going to shake the dregs of that mortal fear.
Sure, do what you want to do.
So Sean, this was a person, just like you and I were once regular people. And while he may lie here bleeding on the floor, he is nothing more than a possession of, if assumed claimed, the state at this point. He's matter, Sean, that's it. There's nothing more. His soul, if you will, has flit away. And he can't harm you.
He used to be a lot more than that, though.
I'm sure he was, just like you or I once were.
Okay, what do I do?
Depends on the situation. Did you make the body? Or did you find the body?
Found it.
You determine the death. What caused this? First glance, what do you think?
Gunshot?
Best guess. Honest guess. We heard the shots ring out. There were two, were there not, Max?
Max, you're muted.
I believe there were, is that correct?
That is correct.
2 shots, that's what I heard.
Then we look for 2 points of impact.
So what do we watch Sean do? Cautiously approach the body on the ground?
Yeah, Sean kneels down next to the body and starts to like look where the sources
Examine
of
it.
blood are. And like he moves the guy over and like I think what happens is that his hands end up covered in this guy's blood. And you can hear him choke. And he just steps back. Like he rolls the guy over and there's a big splat and then he like steps.
Close your eyes.
I'm not
Hold your
doing this,
breath.
Duke. You can't make me. Anything else?
Then at least watch.
Okay, let's get this cleaned up. Max takes the Santa hat off his head and starts swabbing up the blood and then wringing it out into his own mouth. Waste not, want not, right?
Meanwhile, Duke quietly and coldly approaches the body.
Max, that's disgusting.
Yeah. Don't get fancy on me.
There is a clear source as Duke looks at the body, by the way. the gut, as you noted, as Max may have noted before while he stood. Now, though, however, he's not clutching at himself. But a quick look at the shirt shows no bullet holes in the shirt.
I will lift the shirt.
As you lift the shirt and pull it up and maybe even rip it open just to get a clear look at the chest and his stomach, it becomes clear something else killed this man. Bullet holes are nowhere in his body. As Duke maybe looks up and thinks about the arc at which perhaps the bullets would have been fired from and looking to see if he can see any immediate impacts, but he'd need to pay more attention. This is a 2-story building after all. But looking back down catches your curiosity, particularly, Duke, with your history and expertise. Sticking out just above the navel, a small hole in the gut has an index finger pointing out of it. A hole that looks like it was ripped forcefully open, not clean cut. Somebody took a nail or a sharp object and forced a wound, and a finger removed from somebody, as you examine to make sure it is not his own, is jammed in there. And a small pull shows that it's stuck, a little stuck. Maybe it's wider at the base than it is, than you see the finger that's kind of just rigor mortis and stiff. And there the blood seeps from. He clearly bled to death over the course of perhaps hours.
Is there
He
any
got
fluid?
here.
Is there any fluid around whatsoever? Something that I might be able to irrigate the wound with?
You could go to the bar right over there, vodka, anything along those you could easily grab and just pour around it and clear off the blood around the wound.
Max, you may be eating for and from more than just one.
What you mean? Whoa! What the hell is that?
It appears to be an index finger.
Huh. Well, you don't see that every day.
No.
Does Duke pluck it from the stomach, or does he leave it there for now?
This is most precarious. Is there any other identification on this individual whatsoever? A wallet?
So you go through everything. Yep, there is a wallet that you actually pull out from the back pocket. There's also something else that you find on the other back pocket, a laminated card. As you reach in and pull it out, you go through the wallet. There's an ID and a picture of a younger girl, maybe his daughter. It looks like it's hard to tell. There's no writing on it, but it definitely looks like one of those school photos of a sort of a high school. But beyond that, you have his address on his ID. Nothing else there. The laminated card, however, is a prayer card. A prayer to Saint Leopold.
Sean, get Vera immediately.
He just leaves.
Okay. Sean wordlessly heads downstairs. Do you say anything to Maxwell? Or do you wait?
I say Leopold.
Leopold. Leopold? Leopold. Leopold. Leopold.
Max clearly means nothing to him, and that's not surprising. It might not even necessarily mean anything to many people, unless those who've had run-ins with them before.
It's hunters.
What?
It's hunters. It's a prayer of Saint Leopold.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. This guy was a hunter? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that he may have been at one point, but he's done something very wrong. And now he has been the target of Leopold, in which case they likely followed him to this location.
Right. What about the old tummy finger there? What's up with that?
I have no immediate interest in retrieving or removing that.
I can pull
Vera
it out.
does.
There's as there's like I don't know, whatever. There's a hard cut. We find ourselves immediately back downstairs, and we see the foot of Sean taking that last step from the stairs to the smooth concrete floor. Vera, you've heard some movement upstairs, even some minor chatter, obviously indeterminate from where you are, but you actually hear the light footsteps of Sean. He's the only one that moves that mouse-like. He turns a right, and in there he stands in the doorway. He looks. Well, he's already pale, but if he was mortal, you would say he looks pale.
Sean, have you fed?
No, there's...
A body upstairs, it would be easy. You look rather pasty.
It's... Duke wanted you about it.
About... Go. And I kind of like push him along to come with again.
And back up the stairs, Sean is ushered. Was there a hope in Sean that he'd be allowed to stay downstairs?
Yes.
I imagine there was a minor glimmer of hope in the back of his mind that he's like, all right, my job's done. I can rest. But no, not so lucky. As you make your way back upstairs...
Vera, actually, on our way up, Vera goes,
Sure.
You know, Sean, we haven't celebrated Christmas in many decades. Not properly, anyways. Gift giving and all of that.
Is proper?
Well, I guess that begs to question whether or not delivery of a dead body is considered a gift.
You've got a secret Santa then.
Oh, I have many secrets. Come.
Ushered up the stairs, the door swings open. Max and Duke, you see Vera, accompanied by Sean. Vera, however, as you see the face of this man, I'd like a memory roll, please.
Which is, what did we say?
Intelligence, composure? I can never remember, and I'm bookless.
I mean, either. Oh, no, I got it. I may just have to look it up. No, it is. That seems right.
Never remember.
That seems right. We'll go with that. Oh, or is it resolve? No, it's composure. Intelligence, composure, you said?
That's what I'm going to call for. If it's wrong, I'm sorry.
Done.
We're doing it live, and I'm operating not
another
my
two.
normal office, so.
With none of your books? Yeah, no, I got 2.
You recognize that face. Not because you're familiar with it or you see it often. The last time you saw it, I think he was 10, maybe 11. He's the son of somebody you know, somebody you keep up with regularly. At least you think it is. You're not entirely sure, but he looks familiar. And you've watched many a child turn to adult in your years. A recognition like that isn't so hard. But there's no way to be certain, not yet.
Well, I will keep that piece to myself, for now. Is there something wrong with it?
You see the index finger jutting out of the gut as you ask that very question.
I can't quite put my finger on
Sean.
it, but I have a feeling.
You were right. There is a gift. And I'll reach in with, like, my long talons and, like, slide the finger out.
And there is resistance initially. You weren't expecting it, but there is the skin of the stomach actually pulls with the index finger as you tug at
A
it.
little extra gift.
And a nice hard tug, and there's an audible kind of like moist pop as it comes free, and liquids kind of burble forth and pour over to the sides. But you see what was holding it in place now. A rather gaudy gold ring with an insignia at the very front that was resisting coming off of the finger at the base. You actually see a familiar marking, Vera, one of a dance school, who's run by a headmistress you're not particularly, or rather you are rather particularly interested in keeping up with over the years. She ties you to a part of your mortality you wish you wouldn't forget.
Well,
Whether
Vera
you
runs
say-
a finger through some blood and rubs
There's
it
a
on her lips to
notable-
touch of her lipstick.
And there's a notable change, Sean, Max, and Duke, as she pulls the finger, sees whatever it is she sees. The way she carries herself goes from aloof to almost kind of silly and playful to deadly serious.
Vera,
move
what's
over and-
up?
Is it like a signet?
It's a signet of the
Is it
school.
a signet ring?
Yeah, it's like I guess you would call it like a class ring or a school ring to mark her where she works.
Sean, come here.
I'm bringing the prayer card
I
over
need
as
your
well.
pasty white skin. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I take the signet ring covered in blood, right, from the body, and I press it into Sean's forehead to make this stamp.
As you pull it away,
This pasty white.
yeah, there is an incredibly elegant 2 swans intertwined with one another.
I'm gonna like why
it
and rub
begins
it,
to-
and then it
yeah,
gets
it be-
blood all over my
pop
forehead.
your hand. Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
You may both make me a dexterity athletics check to see who rubs and who pops first. Though I have a feeling
Good
Vera has a bit of an edge on dear old Sean when it comes to dex athletics
It really
rolls.
depends.
Wow,
Oh,
Sean!
5. And wait.
Was that a crit, Sean, or
I
no?
have a celerity.
can't
I
see
believe
if
I
it's
have a
2 10s.
celerity power.
No? Oh, you have of course.
I think
'cause I think
if
I
we're
get-
equal, then she probably beats me. She's faster.
I would definitely give it to her if you rolled equal, but
Yeah.
I don't see anything
I
rolled
mean,
yet.
all I'm doing is really slapping your hand. I just don't
Did
want
you
to
roll?
touch it. Let it dry for a second.
Did
Oh,
Vera
yeah, I
roll?
did.
Yeah, we
Oh,
both got
the same
5.
thing.
Oh,
I rolled a
dang. My bad. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to if you tied Vera just by a split hair of a second as you're about to touch it, whap, just out of nowhere, and there's like a scratch that would have drawn blood if you were more mortal than you are now.
We're looking at something. Hold still. And I'll kind of grab his chin a little bit.
Yeah.
And I gesture for Duke and Max to come over.
They each walk over, one on each shoulder.
Yeah.
The devil on the devil on your shoulder.
Yeah. This signet ring of a school down the road. Max, you may be somewhat familiar with them. An art school magnet of the sort, but this, well, dead human is the son of the headmistress.
Ooh. Mr. Tummyfinger here?
Yes, the wrapping, as one might call it. And I go, thank you, Sean. And I kind of pat the side of his cheek as I let his face go.
Yeah, and you can feel it's got that tickling itch as it slowly drips past the brow onto the bridge of your nose as that's when she lets you go. Does he wipe it? Do we see Sean immediately?
Yep.
Okay, as soon as you're let go, off it goes.
Okay, Vera, what's
On the other hand, I
Go
don't know
on.
anything about this card. I just don't know anything about this card. Or why...
You
what
were
I'm
never-
guessing is a hunter?
You were never taught. Maybe it's something of the Ventrue teachings, but we tend to learn who hate us most.
Her past would not have had her cross paths with, unless she messed up incredibly badly, she would have not been crossing paths with hunters too often. So it's no surprise that Vera might not know who this particular sect of hunters are.
Right. Yeah, Vera says to Duke, you forget, I was the hunter. Rarely was I hunted.
Well, if you were not previously angry at your sire, you should. Caesar taught me many things, particularly about the faith-bound and how exactly dangerous they can be to kindred.
Okay, Vera, what's the call on this joker here? Should I drain him and chop him up as per usual?
He probably holds sentimental value to his mother. Hey. For now, take him downstairs. Don't chop him up or any of the sort until I decide if she wants it back.
Okay,
why would he-
but
Christmas Eve, but I...
just want to be clear, the blood that's already out of his body is fair game, right?
All yours, Max.
Okay, all right. Come on, Tummy Finger, let's go.
And like limply, the body just hoists up and over your shoulder as Max marches his way out of the main dance floor and back down the stairs to store this thing in a refrigerator of a sort.
Is there a reason why this boy said your name? You said his mother.
I keep tabs on her. She is problematic on the occasion.
In
Why
regards to concern
is her
for us.
son here? I genuinely do not know. You said they found the card on him, which means he himself was possibly a hunter? This prayer.
When I came upstairs or when he was describing where the gun was it deliberately from the right or left side of the body?
The gun was being held in his right hand, so it slipped out of his right hand or to the right of his body when he collapsed.
And did he have all of his fingers?
Yes.
Vera, I believe it may be safe to assume that this woman that you may be keeping tabs on may have recently become deceased.
Well, for as many times as I have sent fingers through the mail, it's usually not because they're dead yet. Seems like a threat.
Well, this was a problem for you, this woman, an issue.
Yes. And now
Was this
even
a
more so.
human issue or a kindred issue?
She's always been human.
She's a Kain, if that's what you're asking.
Well, we've been discovered by the church, or perchance just a hunter with a bit of a play. They know that we're here. He was delivered here. The boy had all of his fingers. The ring was meant as a message, and so was the message in his back pocket. We now have a hunter to deal with, and hopefully just one.
Well, maybe it's time to figure out who the hunter wants.
I'm presuming it may be...
I'd like to go for a stroll.
Would you like Max?
What better way? No, Max is busy. And he's got such a feast before the evening is over. And I gesture to the puddling blood on the floor that I know he'll come back for. So, I'm going to go for a stroll. Maybe down to the schoolyard. See if I can draw more conclusions.
Do you desire any company?
I love company. Sean, would you like to come as well?
Yeah, sure.
And Duke, are you going as well?
Now,
Yes, I think I will.
I go, Sean, that is no way to celebrate on Christmas. You sound so down.
I could go read my comic if you really want. I'm okay being anywhere but here.
Sean,
let's
what
go
I'm trying to say is, what do you want?
this whole business to be over. I don't want in.
Good.
I'll come with you.
Then go help Max clean up this mess.
Come, please. I'd really
Sean,
rather.
you drink it.
Yeah.
This is the
I don't have to
sustenance
look
on
at it all
which
the
we
time,
live.
though. It's normally
Sean,
in people.
You have one of two options. Either you remove yourself downstairs to assist in the body part removal of this individual, or we'll find you a placebo and you can run with us. Adults. Kindred.
Oh.
Doing adult kindred things.
The hell's a placebo?
Duke.
For you, it would be a gun because apparently you're lacking confidence.
Yeah, okay, let's do that.
Vera, do you still have the pistol?
No. I gave that to Max, in fact.
Max reappears.
Did we leave it downstairs? Okay.
It was downstairs. Yeah.
Max reappears with a bucket and a mop. He hands the gun. It's like, what, you need this? He hands the gun over to Vera.
Oh. Hand it to Duke.
And then
Sean.
Max,
The circle is complete.
Max begins mopping up the blood and then wringing it into the bucket and just sort of humming into himself. I'm so glad we had this time together. Da, da, da.
Don't worry, Sean. This should be just like in your Xbox game. You see the bad individual, the one that wants to take your head, and you fire at them repeatedly until they stop standing.
Is that what the game is about?
This is what I've read on the rear side, yes.
Oh, there is pages to read.
I think I get it. Just I put it in my trouser belt and then just like head towards the door. And he
Seems dangerous for your genitalia, but what do I know?
As you're heading towards the door, you see Max lift up the bucket and just sort of take a long drink from it. And then when he notices you all looking at him, he's like, what, I ain't fancy.
And I just go, Max, we're running down to the schoolyard. We'll be back. Since there may be a hunter on the loose, I thought some general scoping of the block might be a good idea.
Okay, I'll clean up here and I'll hold the fort. You got it, Vera.
So we watch as Vera,
Did
Duke,
Sean decide to come?
Yep, he is
I just wanted to make
smoking
sure.
a blunt. to calm his nerves.
As you make your way out the back door into the alleyways of New York, distancing yourself slightly from where the gunshots were heard, though after you get about a block away, it seems business as usual is picked up amongst the streets. We see Sean kind of plop a blunt into his mouth and just cover until gets the light and just a big inhale as he tries to calm his nerves. As you're merely walking about 3 or 4 blocks away, the dance school takes up about a quarter of the block, and while there's a schoolyard of a sort, it's not like you would in an elementary or a high school even. There's only an area to park. But it's a boarding school. This is where a lot of those looking to dedicate themselves to this particular art go. And for whether you like her or not, for whether she's Vera's taste or not, the headmistress is known to get results, and the people that she churns out of her school are always top notch. And as you walk by, strolling, just gazing at your first look at the school, as there's enough people in the crowd still wandering around to get through without being too suspicious, it looks like most lights are out, with the spare 1 or 2 scattered around the 3-story building. Doesn't look like anything on the outside is all that suspicious immediately. Now, how would you like to case this place are you looking to just walk by it a couple of times? Give me what your plan is here on this.
I feel like if I've stalked her for a bit or I've been by, I would know if she
where her
drives a
office
vehicle,
is.
if her car would be here, her office would be here.
So we'll say you do about 3
have-
loops.
yeah.
Where you kind of look at very specific things. You do notice that her car is still here, which is bizarre because she does not live here. And her office light is on the 3rd floor, though you do not see anybody moving or any silhouettes or anything on the walks that you have. Those would be the things that stick out just from a very simple walk by.
I'm going to go up the back way. I'll let you both in the front in case anything is odd.
Duke nods.
Ugh, I should have worn pants. And Vera takes her nail and slices the vinyl dress open in the front and the back so that it hangs a little bit more loosely.
Immediately,
she takes her shoes off and I pass it to Sean. Hold those. And Vera gets a running start, and she's going to climb this building up to the 3rd floor. I don't know if there's like a fire escape or if I can just, if there's a way I can jump from window to window.
If there's a fire escape, you'd be able to climb and kind of jump to, but the first leap to it is going to be rather large, though you are a Toreador and a skilled, dexterous one at that.
I have Cat's Grace, so that'll allow me...
Passes any dexterity or athletics-based rolls needed to keep their balance. So you're not worrying about balance. I need your jumping. You're making a leap right now. So a dex athletics check
just an
to
athletic?
make a jump. We see Vera kind of gingerly kick off her high heels and with an index and middle finger dangling, the 2 of them drop them into Sean's lap, slits her dress open. You can hear that clean
Oh, that
rip.
was a bad roll for me.
That's fine. You
that
can
was
always
a horrible
willpower.
roll. I had 7 die on that.
You can willpower.
I'm going to
reroll
willpower
3.
3 of them.
That's fine. And you add 3 successes.
That's what I needed. That makes 4.
And you hear that clean rip as she uses her nails, as she described down her vinyl dress. And as she looks up, she kind of just almost looks a little frustrated. It's been a while since she's needed to do anything this drastic for a mortal. And so she takes off and she moves at a speed that is you've never seen a mortal move at. You've really never seen Vera move at Sean. You've seen her move uncannily quick when she needs to hit you or get in your way. But to do this, seeing her in full action, if this is what it is, this is a rare treat for anyone, kindred or kind alike. And after 3 or 4 large strides and a speed that is hard to keep track of, you see Vera kind of crouch and kick off. And with a simple soaring leap with one hand reaching out, she grabs the 2nd rung on the ladder and continuing at that momentum, just a couple quick 1, 2, 3 before she's at the top. Her feet are at the bottom, and she's safely on the fire escape. And she begins to quickly crawl her way to the 3rd floor. Leading, by the way, the fire escape will lead to a hallway on the 3rd floor, not directly to her office.
Perfect.
Sean, Duke, and Duke, you've seen her do this many a time in the past. But Sean, do we see a little bit of stunned kind of come off of Sean's face?
I think so. Yeah, he's not expected the very upright, rod up her ass Vera to move anywhere near as elegantly as that.
And we see
at
as,
least that quickly, yeah.
You should remember this very unique experience is one day you may have to defend yourself from her.
I don't think I could survive that.
Sean, wits insight, please. As he says that.
Okay. 1.
I mean, he says everything in such a monotoned way. And with 1 success, you're not gonna... That just seemed out of nowhere for Duke. That was not necessary. It just seemed out of place.
That's weird. I should have had 2 more dice on that, but that's not important.
Oh, re-roll then. If you guys are supposed to have 2 more dice,
I'll
please
just
no.
roll 2 more.
Yeah, give me 2 more
That's
D10.
weird.
With 2
2.
successes, all right. With 2 successes, that was beyond being out of place. Duke doesn't speak unless he says something that carries meaning. He never speaks when it's superfluous. Maybe he's tried a couple of times, but he hasn't really interacted with you all that much. At this point, 2 years into this coterie, anytime he talks, there's like a lesson behind it. There's a reason. So I don't know how Sean would take that out of like that threat about Vera, but
Sean just has another reason to be scared.
fine. And Sean, we see kind of like internally swallow. As Sean watches Vera go up, his hair now lightly covered in snow, much like Duke's is, brushing it out of his way to watch her make her way up to the door. The door, of course, is locked, Vera. If you want to, do you have the ability to pick the lock?
I might.
Dex larceny?
No, but I mean, I could still roll it.
You could roll it. You could try and just
um,
bust open the door if you want to do a strength brawl.
yeah.
Remember, you
Vera
can
will
always
try to use
rouse
her
the blood
nails.
as well if you'd like to rouse
Yeah,
the blood.
Vera will try to kind of like pick the lock with her fingernail. I don't really.
This is
have
not like a
larceny roll,
super like master lock here that you're trying to pick.
but... Nope.
No. So you
Well,
see Zero.
yeah, yeah.
Would you like to willpower? And
I
re-roll
am gonna
the 3?
willpower
All right, go
the
ahead.
3. It might be worth it just to get in the door. There we go. I got the 1.
success. Oh, Vera, I needed 2, man. As
No,
you're-
no,
as
I
you're
break
sitting
my
there,
nail into
and
the
Vera,
door.
like, so deftly like runs up. You see her take a knee real quick, and she like kind of messes with her fingers and then kind of moves into the lock. And then you see her pull her finger out, and you see her swear and like whip her finger around, and then she looks back at you at the 2 of you, probably motioned with her finger out and her nail broken, and she looks.
I imagine it's the middle one. Just sorry, this charity stream. A middle one, just for the sake of it. And will kill whoever made this evening this way. Is there a window I can break in through?
There
Nothing
is a
else other than the
window.
door?
It would still, but like it's because it's that steel door that leads to an exit. It's a small window that has that
yeah.
wiring in the cross, so it would be a strength brawl check to get through it of a minimum.
Just
I
to
don't
pull
know.
it free.
I don't know what Duke's strength brawl is, but you know Max is probably done.
I was about to say, I
cleaning
look down and I go, yeah, it's locked. You just hear me say down to them.
You need it to be unlocked.
You just say it out loud. Hang on, I need to make a roll. No, continue role playing.
I do. Not terribly loud, but I imagine I do yell down.
I take a penalty. Don't worry.
I can make it unlocked. Help me out.
Okay.
Okay. Dex athletics check, please, Sean.
Okay.
Can Duke give him a boost?
Duke could
He
give
said
him a
he wants
boost
to
and
make
negate
the
it.
jump, right?
Yeah.
This is a school, right? This is some sort of like academy.
It's a dance
Okay.
boarding school. Yeah.
Short of like the obvious path, which you said it's snowing, so I'm guessing it's been salted. Is there anything that sort of looks like someone else outside of Vera may have gone around the building or through a window or something?
I would need more than a passing wits awareness for that to be discovered. So if
Gotcha,
you're looking
okay.
to put time into a wits investigation check, that's
yeah,
gonna be time.
I'll circle the building while she's doing
while
her
they're doing
climb.
that upstairs. So
Yeah.
do you give Sean a boost?
Yeah, sure, I will.
So as Sean walks over, Duke just kind of appears behind you. You simply hear the last step in the creaking snow to indicate that he's directly behind you. And as you turn and look, Duke looking down at you, I imagine he simply says, "Do you need help?"
This is how I die. Up.
Like a child, very toddler-like. And so
Like it's like I'm picking up Simba and holding him on.
just like very steadily rise him up. Eventually, Sean, you can grab one and you're able to pull your way up. So I'm going to get a wits investigation from Mr. Duke and a Dex larceny check from
I'm
Sean.
gonna willpower reroll.
Please do. You get 3 more.
Great.
Dang, my man!
That's
Holy
eight.
crap!
That's 8 successes.
Oh, you crit! Man, that's nuts. What a roll.
Okay, nice.
Why couldn't we have those rolls in season 1 from you?
I
Right?
know, right?
Oy vey.
And did we get the other, the Dex Larceny from Sean?
There goes 3.
3 successes.
Beautiful.
So we, do you have lockpicks, Sean? Do you have like a basic set?
No, I mean he's probably got small.
He's got like your own
screwdrivers and that's
makeshift.
about
Yeah,
it.
exactly. So I just want curious what tools we're seeing Sean pulling out of his ripped jeans and his pockets. And it's like you said, it's like a screwdriver that's like a flat head and tiny that you can wedge into one side. And like
probably
Vera might even have a
shaved off.
bobby pin to
a bobby
offer,
pin, exactly.
you know, yeah.
As he's fiddling around, he's like, oh, dang, usually I use like one of my insert drug reference tools here and like, and doesn't have it on him right now. So you pull up a bobby
Back
pin.
end of a
He
burnt
gets to
spoon.
work. There you go. Exactly. Meanwhile, Duke very quietly begins to walk his way around, looking for any sign of somebody who have come in. Now, you wouldn't have noticed it if it wasn't for Duke rolling more than 5 successes, which is what I was looking for here. Because the footsteps that are left in the snow have been almost entirely covered up by fresh snow. There's no indication of any fighting on the outside. It doesn't look like whoever made their way in needed to fight their way in. There's a small path that walks along the back edges of the wall. You can see where they probably jumped over and landed. And they walked around the edges and then walked directly into the back door. Doesn't look like there was any resistance, but you only see like maybe 4 or 5 of the footsteps, and you're able to piece it together by spending about 10 minutes just doing the math and thinking where they came over. All right, if they went from here to here, because the footsteps are like 15 feet apart, what's the most likely route? But yes, it does look like somebody hopped the fence and made their way in the back door, Duke. And as you discover,
or someone's as in multiple.
someone.
Good. Okay.
And you kind of come to that conclusion as you hear almost like a yes from Sean as he pops the lock.
After you,
Well.
lady.
As
Can I
Duke
see-
rounds
can I
the
see
corner
them?
in the door. Yeah, you come back around the corner. You can see the door just now beginning to creak open and some light from the hallway begin to flood outside. Do you stop them?
If I see her disappear, I'll make some sort of a notion or a sound to draw her
You see
attention.
her about to, like they're about to step in. And so as you're about to step into the building, Sean and Vera, sorry, I'm getting hiccups out of nowhere. You all of a sudden hear a from below you. It's pretty silent out at this point. The school's closed.
Yeah.
Everybody's supposed to be asleep.
I'll lean over the railing and kind of
And you see Duke
wait to see
looking
what
up.
Duke has to say.
There's one.
Would you like to join us?
There's one.
Oh. Vera nods.
When it's
Good.
clear, allow me in the front.
Max,
Why don't you let Duke in the front? And I can send Sean to like go open that door.
yeah, he can go
whatever,
down
as
the
outside.
stairs that are going to be right next to the fire escape that would lead down to the first floor. But we're going to cut back to the club for a moment. Max, they've been taking a while. They said they were just going to case the joint and they would be back. And you've cleaned and indulged in quite a bit of that blood. It's dry, sure, or I mean, it's starting to kind of get that thickness to it as it's seen the air for a while. But
Yeah, I don't mind
Yeah,
that.
it
That's
doesn't
fine.
bother you.
You know, I sometimes eat scabs, so it's not really a problem for me.
and honestly, the floor was just wax, so it kind of added a weird tanginess to the flavor of the blood.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right. So once I finish, licking up the floor to get the last of it, I think I might be wanting to go check on them, taking a look around the neighborhood.
You know where this school is. Vera has sent you a couple of times over the years, just on nights where she's been too busy for herself, but insistent on somebody swinging by the school to make sure everything's good. So you know where it's at. You don't necessarily know who the woman is, but the things that she had you check, whether there was an attack happening or something kind of strange, never really happened. It always seemed quiet out there. So we'll say, as Duke is getting their attention and saying there's one, and we hear Vera direct Sean, you are behind Duke without him knowing, Max. You just arrive and hear that brief conversation, obfuscated and deadly silent, of course. Do you make yourself known, or do you just kind of wait it out?
I'll do my usual of like,
Yeah.
hey, how's it going? Just a disembodied voice suddenly pops up.
Duke shows no break in his stoicism. As the voice comes over his shoulder, his stare at the top is not broken. He takes a moment before he brings his head down as unsuspiciously as he can and engages with Max as he chooses.
Okay, Duke, what's the rumpus?
There's at least one in the building. They attempted to disguise their entry, but I was able to detect it.
Okay, whose heads need cracking, huh?
I'm entirely unaware, but they will likely pack all forms of heat, if you will.
Yeah, it's all right. I came loaded for bear.
Are you prepared to deal with faith, and have you encountered anyone with faith before?
Faith? What are you talking?
A faith hunter. They speak the word of God. It will trigger and rile your beast in a form of fear that you've likely never seen before, even more so dramatically than fire.
Huh. Well, I assume blowing their heads off with a shotgun before they can do anything will be efficacious in this situation, right?
I would say yes, that is accurate.
Okay, that's what I'm gonna do then.
And as he comes to that conclusion, Sean, you've made your way down the fire escape to the front door. No resistance whatsoever. You hear nobody walking around, nobody out partying or chattering. It's very, very eerily quiet. Though the way Vera speaks of the headmistress, that doesn't necessarily surprise you. You eventually make your way to the front door and take off the two locks. And oh wait, there's a padlock here. Dex larceny, please. You are in the middle of New York. Good sir.
Yeah, he's used to it.
In a
He's
world
just
of darkness, New York, there's extra security on mortal buildings pretty much everywhere.
Right. That is.
Is it 2 or 1?
That's 3.
Just okay, cool. What 3? After just fiddling with it, eventually it kind of comes loose. It's just one of those master padlocks. You've unlocked plenty of them in your past. You did it as a hobby when you were immortal, and eventually pops, and the chain you hear that deafening sliding of a metal chain against the 2 bars as it comes loose, and we see Sean quickly kind of scoop it up before it hits the ground and gently place it before he presses them, and the front door, double doors swing open, and you see Duke just standing there by himself.
Come in. Welcome.
Thank you.
Nice work there, kid.
A voice, as Duke passes by you, Max's voice comes out of nowhere.
You're welcome, Duke.
That. Sure, we'll run with that.
The front doors close behind them. The camera flies back up the stairs as they gather, because Vera has been quietly moving about. First, Vera, you're no stranger to staying quiet. Your profession before the ownership of this club was predicated on your talent there. Dex stealth check, please. Would you like to? You'd be able to re-roll.
How many can I re-roll?
You'd be able to re-roll 2
Okay, that'd be worth it.
if you'd like to. How many willpower have you? How much do you have?
I've
Max?
used. I had 5. I've used 2. I think I'm going to. That's a 3. That's not a terrible roll.
No, it's not a terrible roll. Not a
3.
terrible.
Yeah,
roll.
I'll stick with the 3 for this one.
We watch as Sean, slips away to the fire escape stairwell and the side stairwell of the building and begins to make his way downstairs. We watch Vera change posture again. It's almost like she changes stances in a video game if Sean was watching. The way she carries herself almost always speaks of its intent. The difficulty is reading what each stance's intent is. And this time, we see the roots of her ballet step forward. Not carrying herself all prim and proper or with an air of royalty or even an air of sass. This is almost the way she moves, pure respect for her own body, a complete mastery over it. Every step into a shadow, avoiding a light. Each step as the toes hit first, followed by the ball and the heel, make no sound. And each room she peers into, quietly, without anybody realizing, the camera even being on the inside a couple of those rooms, only ever catching just a moment of a glimpse of a shadow underneath the crack of the door, but never her actual figure. And this is how she searches the 3rd floor meticulously. Please, an intelligence investigation check.
It's an investigation.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm looking, if it means anything or helps, I am specifically looking for her office.
Oh, no. I imagine you're going to, all the regular hits where you expect her
that's
to be,
not
but
really
you're just
my big
just-
thing. I
that's
could do an
fine.
awareness roll, but yeah, no.
No, that's totally fine. You're I would actually, in response to your failure, I need a wits awareness roll.
Got it. Might be 2.
With 2 successes as you're going from room to room, all of the lights are off. Spare, obviously, her office, which is where you saw the light on. But as you approach the office and peer in, it's actually completely empty. And even taking a moment to really take the room in, it is completely empty. There's only one room left that you haven't. A dance studio on the 3rd floor for practice, the ones with the ballet bars on the side. And as you approach, the lights are
Mirrors
actually...
and stuff.
Yep, exactly. As you look inside, you see a very simple figure sitting on a chair with a bag over her head. She's older now, 40s or 50s or so, in a very plain dress that goes past her knees down to her shins. You don't hear anything. She doesn't look like she's struggling. But before you open the door, you do catch a glimpse of what looks like something square sitting under her blouse on top of her stomach, an object placed there. And as you look in, you see no other figure, but you can't see every corner of the room with the door closed. Actually, no. Yes, you can. There are mirrors everywhere. You see another individual standing in a corner of the room, and as you catch his eyes, he catches yours. But there's no action. He moves not once. You
I
can't
don't
tell
know
if
this
he's-
person.
Do you want to get a good close look? Is that this is your wits awareness is what gave you that? Because you failed your wits investigation.
Yeah.
So you're getting a quick glimpse
Right,
of
yeah.
before you make a decision of a person who's you're kind of catching through a mirror reflection, and it's hard to see details. And the woman that you believe to be the headmistress, because
Vera will slide the 2 knives out of her garter belts on her
hold them.
legs, and hold them.
Actually, can I get a
for
dex
sure.
stealth check? A dex stealth check, just to see if his eyes catch yours. I should give you that. You see him, but he might not see you. You could reroll. You
I
got
got
one
a 1.
success.
I don't care if he sees me at this
He
point.
catches your eyes then.
No, he can catch my eyes. That's
totally
Mathis,
fine.
please. That's Vera's best.
That's I
quality.
figure you might. That's
and
fine.
She may even turn on. Why not? Right? If he's gonna make eye contact, yeah, I'll go for it. Doesn't cost me anything. So she turns on and kind of removes these 2 knives very slowly, even if he wants to see them from the garter belts around her legs.
Okay, and you kind of just hold on to those for a moment. You're looking through a window in the door. You're not.
Yeah,
The doors aren't
yeah.
open.
They aren't open yet. Yep.
Back downstairs, as the 2 of them walked in, I imagine, Sean, you led them immediately all the way up the stairs to the 2nd floor and up to the hallway. As you guys kind of breach the hallway and look down, you actually don't see her right away. You don't see Vera at all. It isn't until you're about halfway down the hallway that we'll say Max or Duke catches the silhouette of Vera pressed very tightly up against a corner where no light is hitting, and her sleek black outfit has her just impossible to see. If it wasn't for her banana curls that hang ever so slightly forward, that catch a light, that give away that she might be there, you would never know.
For a second, Max ripples into existence, and Sean and Duke can see that he's no longer wearing his bathrobe. It looks like he changed before he came out. He's wearing the hoodie and trench coat. You can see the flak jacket underneath. And he opens his coat to reveal the sawed-off shotgun hanging from its harness and whatnot. And he holds up his finger like this and just points in the direction of Vera and then ripples out of existence again.
Does Duke do anything in response to that?
I just looked to Sean and I motioned for the gun in his pants.
Yeah, he
Okay.
picks out the gun.
Everybody
gets ready.
quietly arming themselves, and we watch as does Duke doesn't have a weapon on him, does he?
Duke is his own weapon.
Exactly. So we see Duke just kind of quietly walk forward. However, Max is the first one to make his way, and I imagine now that he's invisible, he's going to get a much clearer view than Vera can get, kind of pressing herself up against and stealthing. So I need Max to make me a wits awareness check.
Sure thing. And as we've discovered, Roll20's being a little...
Yeah, a little bit happens.
Let's see how we. So I'm just going to roll the dice pool. So that'll be wits and
Yeah.
awareness.
That's fine with me.
I got a pool of 5.
1, 2, 3, 4 successes. Beautiful.
Man, y'all are rolling great tonight.
Max, you actually see the important thing that Vera couldn't catch just at the angle she's at, because you can see him a little clearer from the left-hand side on that mirror. In his right hand, he was holding behind his back, so no reflection could be seen by Vera from the other side. He's clearly holding some sort of makeshift trigger. Maybe a dead man switch. Maybe your first guess.
Okay, can I sneak up behind him?
You'd have to open the doors, and he would know because the doors would open.
Okay.
The doors are closed, and he's simply standing there. He does not know you're there. The only one he thinks is there is Vera, and he's not moved quite yet.
Dead man switch, you say? Shooting him is
Yes.
probably not a good option.
Not if you want this woman to not explode.
Let me go in and try.
Well, does Max say anything to Vera to let her know?
Yeah, he'll just get very close to her ear and just say, "I'm here, boss. What's the play?"
Well, he already knows I'm here. And if he's got a switch, then we could all go kaboom.
Tell you what, I'll follow your lead. If you want to go in through the door, I can sneak around behind you, get close to him.
Duke, you say you know a little about these hunter types.
I don't think Duke is close enough to probably immediately hear you. He's just
Not close
waiting
enough.
for any kind of like
Yeah, sign.
knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, if she's
Okay.
talking to Max, it's like,
I don't know. Apparently they got faith or something. But shooting him in the face with a shotgun proves efficacious.
Well, it is the holiday season. Vera will not put the knives away, but she will open the door.
Max will sneak in around the door because obviously
Yep,
just
go
try
ahead
to
and make me your roll. As the door creaks open, like you press the bar, you turn the handle rather, and begin to pull it open. He actually does step out from the corner. He doesn't sprint, and he doesn't come at you in an aggressive way. He takes 3 steps and puts himself behind her. And in his left hand, as he pulls out his right hand, showing you now clearly the dead man's switch. In the pistol, in which he brings the dead man switch closer, he pulls a pistol and puts it to the back of her head. He's like, no, you do not come in here. You keep that door open, and we're going to make this quick. She means something to you. I already know that. And he is instantly, to you, Vera, terrified. This does not reek of professionalism. This does not reek of somebody who's trained. But he jams the pistol violently into the back of her head.
Listen. Do you have a name?
Doesn't matter. Listen to me. I have a demand, and I'll
you
let her
know
live.
my.
If you just listen
know
to me.
my name. The least you can. And Vera, I mean, she's got awe on, and she can try to persuade them. Calm down. We can talk about this.
You run with somebody.
Can I persuade him to try to put it down?
Yeah, you absolutely are welcome to try. But as you are
Maybe
beginning to
put the
talk,
gun down.
Huh?
Okay.
Okay.
I said I just want him to put the gun down.
Sure. Go ahead and make me. You're using awe, obviously. You're gonna go ahead and make me a manipulation persuasion check with your awe added presence to that, a charisma persuasion check with your awe added to that. Your or rather your presence score. added to that
Charisma?
dice pool.
Right, present score, which I believe is only the 1, which is fine. Okay.
Okay. So he's shaking.
I'm
as
just
he-
rolling. Y'all are getting the great rolls.
Yeah. Today's not Vera's day on the rolls. You could willpower.
It's not Vera's day today.
Yeah. It's up to you.
Yeah, I guess I could. It doesn't matter at this point. If he's
Okay,
if he's
so
willing
he-
to speak about it, yeah.
Yeah. So he as you kind of like talk to him, he very quickly tries to just push to his point. Again, indicating that he's nervous at the very least, that the slight tremor in his hand as he has the pistol like pressed up against her head. She has not said a word. She has not grunted, whined, or seemed to be crying. However, he's like, you run with somebody. I want him. You can have her if I have him.
Listen, I run with a lot of people. It's
No,
called
you run with him.
Who do you speak of specifically?
Duke, you run with Duke.
As he spits out Duke's name, Max is going to sort of slide into position behind him now.
He has no idea.
Now, this dead man switch, is this...
He's
this
already holding it, so if he was to let go, it would...
Okay, so if I were to put my hand around his and squeeze, that would actually...
You could break the switch if you squeeze too hard, but
Okay.
I don't imagine you're gonna do that.
I'm not going to squeeze too hard. The gun is currently at the back of her head or lower?
Back of her head, pressed up against her head.
Okay, so Max is just sort of getting into position so that he can grab both hands. He can like grab the dead man's switch and keep it closed, and then probably just like break his wrist to.
So you kind of get within like an inch off of the limbs as he holds steady. So his dead man switch is up to his chest, so you kind of have him like in a pre-embrace, as it were. Okay. Meanwhile, he's like, Duke, I just want Duke. You give me Duke, and I give you. And he just kind of shoves the pistol in the back of her hand, whatever this bitch's name is.
Do me a favor. Avoid using that word again.
Just give me what I want.
What do you want with Duke?
What I'm owed.
Well, let's see if we can't pay up. What is it he owes you?
And as he goes to speak, you watch as his eyebrows kind of contort, and he goes to talk and he bites his lip, and there's a clear fighting with his own emotional stability. He owes me justice.
Does he now?
Yes.
Oh, now's a good time as ever, Max. Vera kind of rolls her eyes.
He raises his eyebrow as you say that.
And
Max
he
do his
hears
thing.
from behind him. Come here, you little prick.
Strength brawl, please. It's against
I'll
one
be-
defense because you're catching him off guard, so he has no idea that this is happening.
I think
Well,
I'll be
come on. It'd be
just
too easy
to
be a trained hunter. That's
just to give
not
me a better
interesting.
chance here.
Yeah,
you said
yeah.
that was strength brawl.
Yeah, because you're grappling, so you're going to
Okay,
grapple.
so that'll actually be 8 dice, and I'm going to use my potence as well.
That adds to it, or the successes, right?
Yes, so that'll be.
Are you going to rouse the
Say,
blood
if you
and add an
grapple
additional
him,
10 at one?
Yeah, so this will actually be 10 dice.
All right, give me your rouse check first, then, if you're going to rouse the blood.
Hold on. I don't know. 8 dice should be enough. Do I
mean,
need to rouse?
We certainly hope.
Unless you're rolling like me.
True. That's true. Hold on. Did my rouse check go through?
It just went through, so you gain a hunger.
Rouse did.
Okay, gain a hunger, but I got a bunch of blood at home. So here are the first 5 d10s,
Okay.
and here's the second 5.
4, 5, 6.
2,
6
3, 4,
successes.
5, 6.
So we watch as he says, "Come here, you little prick," rippling into existence, the hands just over his, and a quick clench down on them. Particularly the one with the dead man's switch, obviously the one with gun. But he does, as you grab him nervously, his finger does go to pull the trigger. Can I get a Dex Athletics check from Max only?
Dex Athletics, okay. Hold on here.
I was about to say, I'm gonna just slice his throat. It'll be fine.
Dex Athletics, so that'll be 3.
It's gonna be fine.
Hold on one second.
Is it gonna be okay, Vera?
Stop it, Madness.
I forget we're live, actually.
That's
oh my
3.
god, you
That's
crit.
3.
No, that's 5. He
Oh
crit.
no, that's 5. Yeah, you're right. He did crit.
And so as the
rolling
gun
like jam
goes
today.
off, it's at the moment where your grip actually misaligns his wrist, and you can actually hear a slight like fracture as his wrist bends a little bit up further than it can, and the bullet firing off and hitting one of the mirrors as it glass shatters and falls forward. That Duke and Sean, obviously you see all that happened kind of in an instant. It was calm, Vera was talking, and then there was Max, but now he can't move. The gun his wrist is snapped. He kind of let out a short
Can
and his
As,
other hand.
Can I just make a melee attack to just slice his throat and be done?
I mean,
with
if you
this?
want to just kill him, you're absolutely welcome to.
I mean, or maybe I'll just. Can I? I guess I need to wound him.
You could wound him as
I
well.
go,
He's currently
I
being...
actually look at Max and I go, "Do we care what he has to say?"
Yeah, maybe he might have some info. Oh, by the way, friend, that's 7 years bad luck. Let's hope you live that long.
Now, Duke and Sean, you both heard the conversations that they were having. Do you just stand on the outside and wait, or?
Are you sure you'd like to hear what he has to say? You can wait outside.
Does Duke do you say that to Sean?
I want to know what you've done to people. Like you
I
said
don't know
about
if you're
Vera,
ready for that.
Might have to defend myself against it at some point.
Very
on.
clever. You may yet live to see 5 years as a kindred. We'll see.
You can do something, surely. Go have a chat.
I'll walk into the room.
So Vera will take the two blades,
Knives. Yep, that you have in
put
your.
him through his hands, and then jam him into his shoulders, so his hands are behind like his back, and that way he can't really do anything.
What about the dead man switch in one of his hands? However,
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm
you
still
guys
holding
say
that.
Max has still got his hands like crunched. So
Oh, if you're holding him in place,
you
then I'll
could
just
peel.
jam him
You could
into
try
like.
and peel it out of his hands, but there would be a risk
it
of
off.
accidentally letting it slip. You could also just cut his hand off.
Oh, I know what Vera will do. If he's holding him in place, Vera comes over really, really close, and she gets right next to his eyes with her nails, and she says, "One of my favorite things in the whole world is to pluck a man's eyes from his skull. So, you let that trigger go, and we'll make sure that you continue to see."
No, don't get him to let it go, because that's gonna make it go boom.
But I thought he had the trigger. I thought Max had it.
He has
It's not in his hand, it's still in that guy's hand?
Yeah, he's got the hand that's holding the trigger. Like he's
Because it's a
grappling this
release.
guy.
It's a release.
It's a release. As soon as he
Well,
releases.
then I'll just take his. Okay. Vera says, "You know what? As much as it is Christmas and I'd like to treat myself, I'm done with this." She's just going to take his hand off.
Yep, go ahead.
Can she just melee attack and take his arm off? Just take it away.
Yeah,
me a
Get rid
Max
of
sort
it.
of stretches
Dex
his arm
weaponry.
out.
Are you using a blade? Are you using a dagger, or are you using like a? You only have your daggers.
I
right?
have two knives. They're kind of like they're probably closer to like a boot knife. They're
So,
not small by any.
What we're gonna
sense
see
of the
before
term.
you make that roll, as the arm gets snapped out by Max, and he's like, what the fuck? What do you want to? Then Duke steps in, and that immediate struggle that he was giving you, the fighting, trying to pull away, stops entirely. His eyes, his words, they're no longer the focus is no longer on the trauma he's enduring. Instead, they're on the man that just so calmly walked through those double doors into a dance room with a shattered mirror on his right. Duke, this guy doesn't look remotely familiar to you at all. And you're trying to remember who is this man, but doesn't ring any bells. But the look on his face says something entirely different. As he strangely just stares at you. Does Vera go to cut his hand off when all of this starts, or does she now?
If Duke walks in, she may make the swing and then she stops right before and goes, "Duke, well, so glad you joined us. This person seems to know who you are. Justice is their cry."
I'm interested in hearing what he has to say.
You don't remember me?
Go on, Ahab. You found your white whale. Tell me, what injustices have I sowed upon your life?
I don't even look familiar to you. I was on the news every fucking night, begging for my daughter to come home. She never fucking came home. And I've been looking for years. And I finally found you. And you actually feel, Max, him try to let go of the trigger in that moment. But
No. You let
keeps
those
trying.
arms. You let
And
these
you-
arms attached to your body. You're not gonna do that again, okay?
you see his tears are welling in his eyes, still not breaking the look from Duke. I'm gonna take things that are important to you until I get what I am owed.
This is your mistake.
This is your mistake. You killed my kid.
Nothing is important to me anymore.
That much is fucking clear, you monster.
You seem to be hurting.
If I take you all out right now, he tries again.
Nope,
Max.
that ain't happening.
I'm gonna
Okay.
mesmerize him.
Make your roll. Oh, no, you don't need to roll. Do you have to rouse, though?
I do.
I believe it's a second level, right?
Yes.
Okay, you gain a little hunger,
Yes.
but his eyes lock with you. None of you feel true faith ever emanate off this guy.
Interesting.
He never breaks out into prayer. He doesn't wear obvious Christ-like jewelry or any religion. But the snow is still gently flowing out the windows. You can see through the moonlight at the end of the hall, past Duke's shoulder as the camera focuses on his face. As everything grows quiet in that moment, his blood thickens, and his eyes are always an ice blue, but Vera, they seem particularly cold in this moment. You have him. You feel his mind melt by just gently pushing it, Duke.
I know that you feel my previous transgressions have wrought disorder unto you, and I apologize for the life that I led before this. While I do not know your name, I care to not know your name. We all have disorders in lives and things that we have to own up to. I fulfilled my fantastic passion, and I will never go back to it. I'm sorry. You will not get to fulfill yours. Your life will end here.
Max looks over to Vera and is just sort of like raises one of his brows. It's like, is that the call? Have I got permission?
Well,
Duke turns to walk away.
please, Max.
He's frozen in place, unable to do a damn thing.
As much as, once again, I would love to remove a limb or two of his... Oh, alleviate him of his head and get rid of the body.
So Max, I assume the arm with the broken wrist, he's dropped the gun.
If you shake it even a little, it flops from his broken hand. So you just shake it, and there goes the pistol clattering to the floor as he still blankly stares at Duke, now leaving the doorway and into the hall.
And so Max has the hand on the dead man's switch. He'll use his free hand, just sort of reach around and
Grab his throat.
snap the neck with
And
the full potence, and of course the lethal body. So I'm doing aggravated
yeah.
damage to mortals. So
You may roll that pool if you'd like to, my friend.
Oh, why not, huh?
It's always fun to roll.
Well,
but the
sure.
camera is on the individual, this nameless man. A full frame of his face as he blankly stares, and tears trail down both of the corners of his eyes. We can see just the minor movements of a purple arm reach up and grasp the throat, only the top of the knuckle of the index finger. But it isn't before long, as the camera watches, we hear the snap, and the camera hard cuts to the corner of the room as his head logs to the side, and he falls limp in Max's arm. Max, he very quickly fell. You feel his hand loosen, though obviously not enough to make the thing go off, and you can very easily now just cut his arm off or twist it off. But before we get to what you do there, Duke, as you walk out of the room, Sean, you've been watching this the whole time. Duke walked in, he saw accusations. He spoke calmly to him, and it seemed to have calmed him, though you do know what his clan and his abilities are. What do we see Sean during this entire experience looking like? What are his reactions?
Well, during the little speech, I think you for a moment see Sean look at the gun in his hand and begin to point it towards the back of Duke's head. But when he sees that Max is about to snap a man's neck, he has to look away. So,
Okay. You probably, as you turn, Duke, and leave, you actually see the pistol get quickly pocketed, and you hear the snap as Sean sheepishly looks to the corner of the room.
Walking out of the room, I imagine it takes time for me to cross that parlor floor. But on the way out, I'll stop with my side to Sean, never quite looking at him, and express to him, knowing the names of your victims of the previous life, only anchors you to that previous life and shows you debts yet to be paid. Also, a bullet to the back of the head wouldn't kill me, Sean. And Duke leaves.
And he just says that as he strides past you, never losing a step, almost as though he knew the exact amount of words he would have before he passed by you, to the very second. What does Sean do? Does he leave with him, or does he continue to watch?
He waits for the other two, and he just kind of mumbles under his breath. It's just like, I got more victims than you. I fucking bet. He just pockets the gun.
Meanwhile, Sean is being treated to some very wet, ripping sounds as, Max sort of...
Yep.
He actually sort of reached on the top of the guy's head and just twisted it around backwards with just a flick of his wrist.
Yep. And it just snaps and breaks the skin.
Yeah. As he lowers the body to the ground, he sort of, again, just, like ripping apart a well-cooked chicken, he just sort of like twists the arm off at the elbow and then sort of is carefully removing the fingers while keeping the trigger closed.
Okay, now what the hell do I do with this?
When he asks that question, you hear a gentle from under the
Vera
woman.
goes over to the woman. And will remove whatever hood she's wearing.
It's a burlap sack that's just over her head.
Sack. Toss.
As you rip the head off, as you rip the burlap sack off, you are stopped there. You are greeted with a sight you've never seen before. Yes, this is the headmistress. Certainly you recognize her. It's been a few years since you've checked in on her, but this is her. But the thing that catches you off guard is the weird wound-like slit across her forehead. From here to here. And as she clearly is awake, you can see her mouth is stuffed with just cloth and cloth and cloth. You see her eyes kind of start to look up, and she looks around, first seeing Vera, and you're not sure if she recognizes you or not, and then over to Max. And what you would assume would be fear from somebody who's mortal is not at all, as that slit slowly peels itself open, like a semi-dry mouth just getting moisture for the first time in a few hours. And as it slowly opens itself, you actually can see a snake-like pupil down long ways, almost expanding, dilating, there's the word I'm looking for, and that opens a little wider before it blinks closed again and open. And as the pupil dilates and shrinks, eventually she locks on and sees you, Vera. And in that moment, that calm, collected kind of disorientation is immediately turned into what you would perceive as a white, hot hatred. Now you, as far as you know, she doesn't know you. She's thought you've been gone for a long, long, long time. Whether she's assumed that you've been dead or you ran off, doesn't really matter. You never really kept that close tabs. So for her to see you and show a look of recognition, followed by a look of pure anger, might catch you off guard. Now the question is, the two of you who are in here recognize what's sitting in front of you. Wits occult, please.
It'll just be wits for me.
Yep, I figured.
Just a one. Just
a one. But it was a 10. Yay.
It was a 10. I'd be better off in politics.
Max would be the only one that may have had rumors of, but no, as you think, you're not quite sure what's in front of you. You've never seen anything with a third eye before.
Oh boy, what the hell is this? Okay.
She goes to speak, and it's just met with garbled mumbles. Not any language, just babbling, but clearly angry babbling.
Now, Max has the dead man's switch in his hand, and the explosives are on her, right?
On her, you can see a square outline sitting under her blouse.
Okay, here's my pitch. We back out of the room, and I let this thing go.
Max, can I tell if she is kindred or kind?
Do you have an ability to beyond just looking at her teeth? You could literally just shove your fingers in her mouth and look to see if there are fangs.
I mean, it is Vera.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how delicate you want to do.
Senses, but
No, nothing unless you have like the ability to sense just.
yeah, I do. I have heightened senses, which lets me to heightened senses does.
Allowing them to sense presence otherwise hidden from the naked eye. This can be anything from another vampire using objects. She's not using anything.
Oh no, I guess
blood
if they're
sources.
trying
Nope.
to hide.
Yep. So you could just jam your fingers.
Then
into fingers.
I'll grab her jaws, and like
So we
pry
see
her gums
as you
back
creep
with
it and you
my
kind of
nails.
push forward and you jam in there, just kind of pull back, and you are greeted with 2 fangs on each side, here and here.
Well,
4 fangs total. As she kind of holds her mouth open and she you kind of hold her back, holding her chin, and you see them. A kindred with a third eye, though.
last thing
That's
we
not.
need is a masquerade breach by blowing up another kindred.
Yeah, but it wasn't us. It was
I
the hunter. It was the hunter who did this. Don't you see? Huh?
You would set off a bomb in the middle of a boarding school.
All right. Well, we could take it down to the sewers, and then I could let go of this.
You know what's attached to your chest, yes? And I look at this woman with a third eye.
Yeah, she just nods aggressively.
You know what's in my friend's hand, or your friend's hand, because he's still holding the other guy's hand, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
And she nods.
My friend here would like to see you blown to bits. It would be an easy finish for you.
Nothing personal.
Give me one good reason why I shouldn't give Max this gift of the holiday season.
Max, you killed him, right?
Yes.
Okay. She looks over to Max, and she gestures with her bound hands to free them.
This could go sideways, Vera. What's your call?
Vera goes over and she'll cut the binds off on her hands.
Okay, and she lurches forward a little bit as she.
We've done business together in the past, and the body of your son showed up on my dance floor tonight. You've caused me a lot of problems, and it's supposed to be a vacation. A proper holiday.
Reaches up to Max, again realizing she tries to speak, but words don't really come forward. Do you allow her to touch you, Max, or no?
Max backs away as she goes to that.
Don't touch the merchandise.
She brings her hand back, and to show non-aggression.
Okay, then.
Do you let her? She'll go again if you seem like you come back close.
Vera, what do you reckon is going on here? Yeah, all right.
No.
And if you let her, eventually she does reach forward and press her bare hand against your chest, being shown through the bathrobe. And she just looks at you in the eyes. There's a few moments that pass. It's not that you feel sadness, Max. Sadness isn't something Max has felt in a long while. But there's always that nagging feeling in the back of your mind when you take a mortal life like you do. He was clearly upset and looking for revenge, and who hasn't been there before? And he's powerless against you, never mind 4 of you. Whoever sent you against them set him up for failure. And that feeling sits there. We've done it 1,000 times, it comes with the job. But there's still a little guilt. But as she looks to you, and you watch the third eye open wider, there's almost a true feeling of sadness for the first time in maybe 2 decades for you. Did you grieve the loss of your haven and those that you had? Yes. but those were more like a grievance of possessions. True human guilt is something you have almost completely forgotten until this very moment. It's almost like she pulls it from the depths of your gut and forces it to the front for you to reckon with. Yes, you rationalized his killing, and that might have been the right call. But there's still a human inside of you, somewhere. And she just touched it very briefly. And as she pulls her hand back, you see the eye build a tear, but not a tear of a clear tear like you would normally, but thick vitae, simply wells, never truly dripping. And she looks around for a moment and grabs the nearby sack and rolls it up and tries to tie it around her to hide the eye as best she can in a panic. Now, none of you are at Hunger 4, correct?
No.
Okay, so you have no effect, though seeing kindred vitae in any form is always tempting.
Max. I should mention, of course, Max did change out of the bathroom, so he's in the street.
Perfect. So there you go. That's fine. But what do we see Max do?
He pulls the scarf from around his neck, and just sort of hands it over to her.
She gratefully kind of takes it from you and ties it almost like a makeshift headband. You can still see something is off, but unless you know what you're looking for, it could just look like a cut or a wound to anybody else.
Look, we didn't have nothing to do with it, but I'm sorry about your son. All right, we got him back at the club if you want him.
She kind of breaks the eyesight with you. Looking to Vera again, there's still a clear simmering anger there, but the immediate white hot hatred is simmered at the very least. Perhaps just not expecting to see you caught her off guard and weld something you're unaware of. But either way, she then gestures, she goes down to untie her feet with her free hands while looking at both of you as for almost permission.
Go, wait. I walk over and kind of pick her shirt up. Mm-hmm. Can I pluck whatever the device is from her?
Yes, you could pluck it from her. It's very hastily kind of slapped on and tied via string.
Give that to Max so that he has
beeping.
both of them.
Does anybody have any experience in explosives isn't a skill, but weaponry or anything? I'd have to look.
Unless it's a
firearms.
Firearms, maybe that'll work. But we'll just like disarming this thing, or unless you want to use it to explode. But that is handed to you, Max. And you now have a dead man switch and a bomb.
Okay.
Vicky.
I probably got to get rid of this at some point here.
And as you say, Vicky, she looks to you. All.
Yes. I haven't forgot your name. We'll bring your son by, if you'd like. Whatever strange resentment you are holding on to, I do not have time for. More importantly, we just saved you. So I suggest you swallow your pride.
When you say it with such
Allow-
poignancy, her eyes dart to you like you dare speak to her like that.
And I suggest you let us leave, and we will leave you alone.
Her hands go up as though be my guest.
Okay, yeah.
You might want to have that looked at, by the way. Vera kind of points
the hands
to the...
go down, and she just leans toward you as you walk away.
I've never had the joy of plucking a third eye from a kindred skull. Maybe next Christmas. Come, Max. We have a bomb to get rid of.
Sure.
He sort of leans into her as he's departing. And like,
Again, my condolences and whatnot, okay?
Says that to Vera? Oh no, to her, to the. Oh, she actually, as you say that, there's just this soft look she gives you. Completely opposite of the way she looks at Vera, and she nods very softly to you as well as you walk away. And you step out, all of you, scattering amongst. Does Sean say anything to Vera or Max as they leave? Duke having been long gone?
What's the plan?
Where did Duke go?
First things first, I gotta ditch this somewhere.
Yeah, what's the plan?
Oh, right.
What do you want to do with it?
Explosive.
Do you want to tuck it in a pond? Do you want to try and disarm it?
You know, it wouldn't be a family outing if we didn't have some kind of explosive ending. So maybe we find Duke and go blow something up.
I don't think he'd
There's a couple of
appreciate going
ponds
down
I
that.
could sink this into in Central Park. We could watch that.
Do we tie it to
Sean.
Duke first?
Why would we tie it to Duke?
No reason.
Sean?
As the three of you begin to walk out and down the fire escape and make
I'm
your way
like,
outside.
Sean, is there a problem?
Nah, he's left.
Look, kid, I don't got any great love for Duke either, and let's face it, this whole mess is his fault, but we gotta stick together, you know what I'm saying?
Instead of blow apart, fine.
Let me just put this out to you, Sean. Would you rather be in Duke's coterie, or would you rather be everybody else?
And-
Yeah.
And as the fog leaves your mouth and the camera pulls back as you hit the streets, it ushers its way over to Central Park. And as it looks up at the now clearing skies and the snowflakes falling from them, and the moon fully filling the sky, and the clock hits midnight, serendipitously, so too do we hear a gentle rumble boom and a very quick, though explosive, water show distantly in Central Park. And as that curious salubri is left in the dance studio, and a hunter being forced to do somebody else's dirty work has been taken care of, our dear coterie celebrates the rest of Christmas with questions and perhaps a brand new enemy that they'll have to contend with later on. Merry Christmas, everybody, and happy charity stream. Yeah, Merry Christmas. That's it for us. That's it. That's our 2-hour block. I am so glad we got through that in 2 hours. I was really nervous, but
Me too, that was a lot.
I hope you guys had a good time.
I
hope
honestly
everybody
don't think
enjoyed
I could have failed any more roles and
No.
been okay today.
Duke was crushing it, though. Duke was just everything
Max
he was
and Duke were
rolling.
both crushing it.
Max always crushes it, though. I feel like anytime Max steps up,
I guess
he
that's
just-
true. I didn't mean like literally though, Mathis. You know, I meant like crushing those die rolls, not
Fair.
crushing everybody's limbs.
And it was really enjoyable to go watch an even more naive, scared Sean to see the first real big job of his kindred life.
Yeah,
after,
I had to go back
being a
to
thing
episode 1, Sean. You know
Yeah, you
how
did.
much trauma
Oh,
that
poor
dude has.
episode 1, Sean.
Yeah, it's a good stuff. That's
okay.
it for us. So
I
Yeah.
got a little request. Let's all do a little screenshot here. I'm about to take one, so everybody
Oh,
get into
a little
position.
holiday screen.
holiday screenshot. Holiday screenshot.
All right, I'm gonna
for
move
you
my
here.
mic.
Okay, all right. Are we good?
yeah, you do that.
There we go.
Perfect. Yeah, we got it. I don't know who's in control of
Killing
this,
it.
so
Well, we should probably tell everybody who we are. A lot of people came in like late in the stream, so if you don't know, we're Stitch of Fate. We are under the Pod by Night handles. You can find us everywhere at Pod by Night. We're a podcast, so this is a little bit of a holiday treat for everybody to get to like cosplay and get to see our faces do this. We have a season 1 out. It's about 15 episodes. They're only about
Each
an
an
hour
hour.
each, so it's really easily digestible. So check it out, and we're excited because thanks to the kindness of the people that listen, we're going to make season 2 happen. So that's coming in 2021. So make sure to, I don't know, find us in all the
Yeah,
places that you
please.
find podcasts. Yeah.
check us
Especially
out.
if you like today, because it gets a heck of a lot darker. This was our this was our Christmas
This
special.
was a light
y'all.
episode. This was a very light
Fun and
episode.
breezy.
Yes.
There was only some mild dismemberment in there.
yeah, mild.
amount.
You
Just,
got a
just
taste
a
of all of us. Yeah, just a hint. All right. Well,
Yeah, this
I guess
is a
that's
little
it.
taster. So
I think
thanks,
what's
everybody. Remember to
happening
donate.
next-
This is a charity stream.
Yes.
That's right.
You're not a kindred, so you still have a heart. So give this holiday season. 2020 has been hard on everybody.
And you have to deal with
because
actual problems.
Right,
like,
right.
Like COVID.
It's true. It's true. Like COVID. And so the relief fund for this stream today is important. So please, please, please consider donating and to what is obviously a very important and good cause.
Thank you guys so much for listening. We wouldn't be able to even be on this special without all of you people listening to the podcast. So if you were new, like I said, check it out. It's awesome. I hope you guys enjoy
Thank
it.
you.
We will
Thanks,
be back.
Thanks, World of Darkness and Outstar for having us on board this. This
Yes,
experience. It was
thank you
wonderful,
so
man.
much for
We're
this.
grateful.
Outstar's
Yeah,
got a cameo on season 1. I'm just saying.
It's true. It's true.
Josh,
Oh,
take us
oh.
away.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.